Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the Jurassic World Dominion Roller Strikers Triceratops by Mattel. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. So this is an entirely different type of review for me. I have never reviewed anything from the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World toy lines. So I have a really unique story for all of you around my experience with Jurassic Park. Beginning in the 6th grade in my science class, we had to write a book report from a non-fiction book on some topic of science. So I got a copy of Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton from the book fair. How many remember the book fairs coming to school? It's always one of my favorite times. Actually, it was my only favorite time at school. So I read this book. I wrote the book report, and I got up and did a presentation in front of the class. And after I got through sharing it, the science teacher, her name was Mrs. Wafer, looks at me and looks at the class, and she's like, "Now, what I need to tell everyone is Jurassic Park isn't real." And I was kind of confused. So I stopped and looked at her, and I'm like, "It isn't real?" And she was like, "No, son, it's not real." And I'm like, the book says it is. It says fiction. I mistakenly thought fiction meant that it was real. Got it confused with nonfiction. But that wasn't my only experience. Later that summer, when I got home from summer camp at a Baptist youth camp, I learned that that same science teacher, Mrs. Wafer, wanted to take me to see Jurassic Park. I was just completely overwhelmed. And so she took me to a neighboring town, to the theater, and dropped me off to watch the movie while she went in and did some errands. And I was just amazed. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just incredible. The following year, one of my other teachers took note of my interest in science, and particularly in Jurassic Park. And she recognized that I was being bullied on a daily basis, nonstop throughout school. You know, I was beat up literally every week, during that particular year. It was a very bad time for me. I was extremely introverted. I didn't like school. I didn't feel safe at school. I was scared all the time. And at the end of that year, she called my home and wanted me to stop by the school one day when school was dismissed for the summer, when the teachers are doing all their packing and things like that. And I stopped by the school and I asked to see her, and they took me into the library where all the teachers were doing their end of the year reports and things. And she took me to her classroom, and she had purchased for me 2 of the dinosaur toys from Jurassic Park. One was the Dimetrodon, and the other one was a Velociraptor. And I was just so excited, and I can still remember seeing her laugh and everything. She hugged me before I left. And that's one of the last memories I have of that teacher. Sadly, years later, she passed away from cancer. But I'll always carry those memories with me. And I've always been fascinated by science. I've always been intrigued by it. And I was certainly intrigued by what I read in this novel by Michael Crichton. So at a very impressionable and young age, during a very traumatic time in my life, Jurassic Park had a tremendous influence. And it was one of the things that I gravitated toward, like children do, to escape the fear and the pain that I was experiencing at school. So here before us, we have the Jurassic World Dominion Triceratops from the Roar Strikers assortment. I have never owned a toy Triceratops at all. This is my first one. I think this one looks really cool. I like the color, but I don't like the color. I like the dark gray color better, but I can see where there would be different color variations within the species. Now, if you don't know anything about the Triceratops, Triceratops were herbivores, and they lived roughly 66 to 86 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period. They were fairly big animals. They ranged anywhere from 20 to 30 feet in length for the larger ones, and they stood about 9 to 10 feet tall. And you can see the predominant feature of the Triceratops is this large bony structure that extends off of their skull and the three primary horns coming off of their head and their snout. And they lived primarily in North America. That's where their range was. Down on the lower left, you can see the Jurassic World Dominion amber logo and, of course, the T-Rex there. On the back of the packaging, you've got your obligatory product shots of the toy. It also refers you to the Jurassic World Facts app, where you can scan the code that is on the dinosaur, the little DNA code, and it will give you facts about that particular dinosaur. Okay, so we've got the Triceratops outside of the packaging, and included in the box is the Triceratops and his tail, which must be assembled, and you just push it on. And you've got the instruction sheets, which tell you what the contents are, how to operate it, and how to change the batteries, and it operates off of 3 of the LR44 button cell batteries. Really nice looking dinosaur. And that's the roar feature. You can press down on his back and he'll make that sound. What's really cool is if you lightly press it down, he'll growl. I like that. I do like the brown markings on the back. I think they should have extended that further down on the tail. And I do like the texturing on it. I think that looks nice. I do remember on the original Jurassic Park toys, they had the JP stamp, usually on their thigh somewhere, and a little number to identify them. His beak, let's see, his beak doesn't open. Really nice looking toy. I like the texture. As far as articulation, seems to be very limited in movement on the front legs and slight movement on the back. And his tail will twist side to side. That's really about it. Now let's talk about length. He is actually, let's see, 12¼ inches in length, and he is 4 3/8 inches tall. Also on this dinosaur is the dinosaur code, and you can see this little indentation here. It's meant for you to take your thumb and pull it up, and if you do so, you can slide it up, and there's the DNA code that you can scan with the app and see more details about the Triceratops. Overall, I think it is a really nice collectible and toy. Definitely one of the nicer dinosaur toys that I've seen, despite lacking greater details and paint apps, better articulation. If you don't have this one in your collection, I would definitely recommend picking it up. And because these are at a lower price point, I think they retail on Amazon for less than $10. This one retails for less than $14 at Walmart, where I got it. You could build an entire herd of them, 3 or 4 of them together. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have the Jurassic World Dominion Roar Strikers Triceratops by Mattel.